Hello, and welcome to PR3310, Principles of Public Relations for Spring Semester 2015. My name is Eric Rasmussen, and I'll be your instructor this semester. The best way to get a hold of me to start is through email at eric.rasmussen@ttu.edu. I'm usually pretty good at responding within about 24 hours, except on the weekends when I'm usually spending time with my family. It usually takes a little bit longer. I work out of my office here in the College of Media and Communications at Texas Tech University. If you're in town, feel free to drop by. I'm in room 415. Would love to meet you. If you're an out-of-towner, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me through email. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, just so you know who you're working with this semester. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon. Here you can see a picture of the Portland skyline. I am an avid Trailblazers fan, although I do have a love-hate relationship with them. You may not know who these two guys are. This is Sam Bowie, and this is Greg Oden. You probably know who was picked right after them in the NBA draft. Michael Jordan was picked right after Sam Bowie, and you probably have heard of Kevin Durant, who was picked right after Greg Oden. I love my Blazers, but I hate some of the things they do sometimes. My hometown is near Tillamook, Oregon, home of the famous Tillamook cheese and home of the high school mascot, which is the Cheesemakers. That's a true story. My favorite movie is Napoleon Dynamite. You can see on this picture in the movie, he wears a Rick's College t-shirt. I actually attended Rick's College. It's in southeast Idaho in a little town called Rexburg. So I spent some time where the movie was filmed. I went to the Ohio State University where I got a PhD in communication, and I also spent some time in Brazil. My fluent Portuguese doesn't do me much good in Lubbock, Texas these days, but I speak Portuguese nonetheless. My professional history. I started out right out of school as a public relations intern for a Fortune 1000 company, New Skin Enterprises. After a few months, they hired me on full time as a PR specialist, and I worked in the corporate communications department there. After that, I moved to the Washington, D.C. area where I worked at a little PR firm where we handled mainly government clients in the transportation industry. After that, I moved back home to Oregon, where I spent several years working as the director of communications for a home building and land development company. After that, I was back to grad school. During grad school, I did some consulting at a local PR firm called Greencrest. And even though I'm a professor now, I still do some consulting on the side just to keep my skills sharp. Let's talk about what you'll learn this semester in this course. First of all, your knowledge of the PR profession and industry will grow. You'll be able to answer the question, what does a PR person do? You probably have an idea right now, but it might be a little fuzzy. You'll be able to answer that question. Next, you'll be introduced to how to create an effective PR plan. We will talk about the research that goes behind a PR plan, how to take that research to create a plan, how to take that plan and implement it, and how to evaluate its effectiveness to make sure it was research-based and it accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. Next, we'll learn about the difference between public relations, advertising, marketing, and other types of mass communications. They are all related in kind of the overarching field of strategic communication, but there are some distinct facets of each that make public relations a distinct field. We will talk about how the PR industry is constantly evolving, especially as it relates to social media and other digital media and how that influences the practice of public relations today. And while there are no, I guess, entrance barriers to the field of public relations to become a PR professional, like an entrance exam or a licensing or taking the bar exam or anything like that, there are rules about how to work in this field that we need to abide by in order to be successful. So we'll talk about those things. Okay, here's how you'll be graded in this class. The class is divided into 8 sections, as you'll see on the syllabus. You'll find dates and the titles of those sections in the syllabus. At the beginning of each section, I will email or post the requirements for that section. Generally, you will be graded on your answers to a bunch of questions that I'll include for you to answer. You'll have readings, you'll have videos to watch, you'll have websites to visit, and I'll pose a bunch of questions that you're supposed to respond to. You'll be graded on that. You'll also be graded on your responses to others' discussion posts. Since we don't meet face to face, this is how we'll have class discussion, is through the discussion board feature of Blackboard. In each section, there will also generally be a quiz or exam. I think for one of them there's an assignment, but we can talk about it then. And I will send the links to those quizzes or exams when we get to them. If you have, so that's how you're graded. If you have questions about Blackboard or about anything technology related, don't ask me. We have people here that answer those kinds of questions. To get started, here is a link about Blackboard support. I'm assuming that since you're taking the class online, you have the broadband and you have the equipment necessary to take this class. If you don't, call the Blackboard people and they can help you as you get familiar with how we run this class. I'm excited for this class. We have a lot to learn this semester, not a whole lot of time to do it. So the first step, open on Blackboard the Section 1 PDF and follow the instructions, and let's get started on Section 1. Thanks.